remember what actually led them to actually doing something is he took money from the owners. So there was a whole lot of stuff he did that, who cares, whatever. Wait, you took money from me? You gotta go. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today, sitting in for my tag team partner, is one of my all-time favorite colleagues, Mike King. And Mike, how you doing this morning, man? Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Doing pretty well.
All right. So on today's Top Up Tuesday, we're going to talk about the Commanders finally being for sale. Hey, Bobian. OBJ taking the money and pre-draft news and notes. But Mike, now the end is near. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Washington Commanders owner Dan and Tanya Snyder, Tanya, have reached preliminary non-exclusive agreement to sell the storied franchise to a group led by Josh Harris, along with some guy named Irvin Magic Johnson and a host of other people with way more money than I have, for a record $6 billion. So, Mike, although there is another kind of group hanging out in there, what are your initial thoughts on the potential Commander sale? Because you're from the area, and all of your colleagues are Commander fans.
I know that they're very happy. My thought is they're going to have to find someone else to blame, because sometimes the owner doesn't do much. they hire like the main guy, and then the rest of it's on that. So Dan Snyder's been an easy, well, we stink because now we find out maybe you just stink.
Maybe you just stink.
Maybe you just stink.
Well, Mike, the deal also includes the immaculate FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, as well as the team's antiquated practice facility in Ashford, Virginia. The Commanders have been seeking a new stadium somewhere in the D.C. area for some time, and they have finished 8-8 last season under Ron Rivera. Fans who have followed the OCP know we've talked to you the entire time throughout this process. And as soon as we heard federal government investigation, we told you, as Nikita Koloff once said, it's only a matter of time. Remember the Carolina Panthers and Jerry Richardson. We don't like distractions, but Mike, remember what actually led them to actually doing something is he took money from the owners. So there was a whole lot of stuff he did that, who cares, whatever. Wait, you took money from me? You gotta go. Okay. But I do have to tell you, there's this late note. DC native Brian Davis, who went to Duke, played for him. I believe he played in the Leitner Hurley years. Has a alleged $7 billion cash offer. I don't know how serious that offer is, and I'm sure the group led by Josh David and Magic Johnson, Josh Harris, excuse me, and Magic Johnson can outbid them. But did you hear anything about that last minute ditch plea? Anything on your end, Mike?
Yeah, I heard that there was another potential offer. I just think the Josh Harris group, it's weird because he owns teams from different cities, and this would be his third team in a different market with a different fan base, and a lot of the fan bases don't like each other. And it's like his Philadelphia, and now trying to get Washington, and he's got Jersey. I'll count that as New York area. It's just odd to me. The owner owns teams in a city. That's how it makes sense to me.
The NFL is familiar with Harris, who was a finalist in the bidding for the Broncos last year, and he lost out to the Walton family. Oh, okay, I can lose to them. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this, fans, and we're gonna move on to get the bag. Coach Franchise and I have always told everybody, look, man, take your feelings, check them at the door, and take that money and be happy. So, halfway through his introductory press conference, Odell Beckham Jr. was asked whether he had any concerns about the Ravens' quarterback situation. And he looked directly at the camera and said, Lamar, if you're watching, I'd love to work with you. But hey, he knows that that is not his problem. He is a happy camper because the Ravens stink in terms of the receivers. And they offered him $15 million guaranteed when the Jets and everybody else is looking at 7 or 8. So if you got a chance to get 15 for 1 year, you're going to take that. And yeah, they overpaid. And by the way, Mike, Lamar Jackson has until July 17th to agree to a multi-year deal or sign a multi-year offer sheet. After that, he can either play under the franchise tag or sit out the entire season. As a Giants fan, and you had Odell when he was good, if I'm not mistaken, what do you think about this signing, sir?
Good for him. You get a chance to prove yourself and get like the multi-year deal. 15 million's a lot. Take it. I'm not mad at him for taking it. If Lamar plays and he puts up better stats, great. If he doesn't and he puts up the stats he puts up, someone will still pay him next year. That's kind of how it all works. So take as much as you can get now. But when those passes don't hit you in your hands, don't complain.
Yeah, and with that, I also like to get your thoughts on what do you think about the Lamar Jackson situation? Coach Franchise and I have chimed in, but you're my regular cat. What do you think, man?
I think of who was the safety on the Seahawks? Was it Earl Thomas, who didn't get the contract? He played out the year.
Yeah,
And then
it may be.
when he tore his ACL, he was flipping off the sideline on the way out because they
I
cost
remember
him
that.
money. I'm not mad at Lamar at all because he plays this thing for 30, he gets hurt, cost him hundreds of millions of dollars. So he should do whatever is best for him because this everyone loves you until they hate you. So
Till
take
they
the money
don't.
now.
Well, Mike and I said sign the deal and then have mythical magical injuries for 17 weeks
Got to do
and be
that.
a nice nuisance. Always be a nice nuisance. Don't be a mean nuisance. Be a nice nuisance. And oh, my shoulder, my back, my knee. I got migraines. Socio
Cousins your
emotional.
way to $400 million of money or whatever Kirk
Oh,
Cousins is.
oh, he's a bank robber and bless his heart. So, with that being said, fans, in segment two, we're going to talk about some pre-draft notes in terms of teams, management, and ownership. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment two. We're going to get you ready for the draft. We're going to talk about some team moves. And then in segment three, we'll talk about some of the incoming players for the draft. But Todd Bowles, please rent, don't own. Tampa Bay Bucks general manager Jason Licht said last week that the team has no intention of trading Pro Bowl inside linebacker Devin White, despite White requesting the team trade him. He expects White to remain on the roster. And Mr. King, that's a distraction. In addition, veteran defensive tackle Gerald McCoy, six-time Pro Bowler who spent 9 seasons with Tampa Bay, announced his retirement last week. Oh, man. And McCoy made his announcement on social media, and you got a lot of things going on in Tampa Bay. Are they going to be nice to the coach, Mike, or are they going to blame him, as we mentioned in the previous segment about blaming folks?
I mean, it'll be easy to blame them, and potentially they do bad this year. They get a big time quarterback next year. It's you start together with the young quarterback and the new coach. It potentially could fall on the coach. That's how it usually goes.
I hope not. All right. How soon is too soon? The Detroit Lions are trading cornerback Jeff Okudah to the Atlanta Falcons. In return, the Falcons will send a fifth-round draft pick in this year's draft. The move represents a fresh start for the young corner, who was the number 3 pick in the 2020 draft out of Ohio State. And my partner keeps telling me Ohio State players are overrated. While injuries have limited him to just 10 games over his first 2 seasons, he started 15 games for the Lions last year and played his best football early. But the Lions did add cornerbacks Cam Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley in free agency, both likely to be starters. So, Mike, how soon is too soon to give up on that high a draft pick?
I think because he was good this year, I think it's too soon. If it was 3 straight years, then okay, I get it. He's hurt every year, whatever. But this year he did it. He was one of these can't miss guys because when you take a corner or something that early, they have to be Pro Bowlers or they have to be all eventual potential Hall of Famers. Because otherwise, why'd you take a corner at 3? He was supposed to be can't miss. So why give him up for nothing? I mean,
Fifth rounder, man.
as a team who needs a cornerback, I wish we gave a 5th round pick. Who cares about a 5th round pick when you have a lottery ticket? I take a lottery ticket.
All right. Okay, Mike, I got you here because we're going to talk about the Giants next. New York Giants star running back Saquon Barkley does not plan to sign his franchise tender before the offseason programs begin this week. The Giants designated Barkley as their franchise player, but they still have continued contract negotiations. If the Giants do not sign Barkley to a long-term deal by July 15th, the 2-time Pro Bowler would make $10 million this year under a 1-year franchise tender. Barkley finally played a full season, and hey, he did pretty well. But Mike, come on, man, what do you think about Saquon's situation?
So I think the story is kind of a lot about nothing. This happens to every single player who gets a franchise tag. They don't sign it right away. He was just in I think it was Arizona with Daniel Jones and all the receivers. So he's not going to the voluntary nonsense that veterans shouldn't go to anyway. I'm kind of back and forth because I love Saquon, but it's running back. Look at the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is how much they're going to pay Saquon more than probably every single running back combined that was in that game. So he said he didn't want to reset the market. They offered him 12. Then he wanted 14, which isn't resetting the market, but it's close to it. So I kind of feel like if you can get him for 10, and then next year, if you want to franchise him, you get him for what, 12 or whatever the little bump is, and then you could go buy and pick someone in the 2nd or 3rd round, and they'll be probably almost as good because that's how running backs seem to work.
Or you could pick somebody this year and say, "Look, what do we want from me?"
Yeah, pick someone this year to get ready for next year.
Hey, how about okay? I was gonna ask about the kid from Texas, but I don't even know where you pick, and he probably won't.
Pick 25. I think he'll be gone.
He'll be gone. All right. Finally, in this segment, Mike, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, do you trade him? Arizona Cardinals 5-time Pro Bowl safety Buda Baker has requested a trade from a team going nowhere. He informed the Cardinals in February that he wanted to be traded. He is owed $13.1 million this year, 14.2 next year from a 4-year deal with a $59 million extension signed in 2020, which made him the highest paid player at the time. He's played all 6 seasons with the Cardinals. But hey, again, as my partner said, when your safety is leading you with tackles, that means you have no defensive line or linebackers. What do you think about Buda Baker requesting a trade? If you're the Cardinals, do you honor it?
If I'm the Cardinals, I pretty much honor any trade requests because the whole team wants to be traded. No one wants to be there. So that's not going to make for a good season because if no one wants to be there, they're not all of a sudden going to try really hard. So I'm looking around the room going, I don't know when I can win with this team. So I'm going to trade everybody, get as many picks as I can, and start this thing over. That's what I'm doing. That's what as a fan, that's what I would want if I was a Cardinals fan.
All right. And I have to remember that for the win-loss total in the preseason, strictly
Nothing
for
worse than
entertainment
being a
purposes.
7-8 win team. That's in all sports, especially the
Yeah.
NBA. But you can't be like the average team. You got to be really good or really bad. You can't be in the middle.
All right. So with that, fans, in segment 3, we're going to talk about who's actually invited to the NFL draft and maybe some moves that some teams might make based on draft placement. We'll be right back on the iCoaches podcast.
The CKA SAVE Project is an industry leader in advocating for student-athlete, academic, and athletic needs. Through academic and athletic enrichment, the CKA SAVE Project is on the forefront of the issues facing 21st century student-athletes. As student-athletes continue to struggle to find a better balance between academic and athletic success, the CKA SAVE Project offers academic and athletic services to support student-athlete academic success, including academic skills assessment, academic and athletic consulting, academic monitoring, academic and athletic workshops. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches podcast. In segment 3, the NFL formally announced the names of 17 players who will be in attendance at the NFL draft on day 1, which is in prime time. So let me give you the list, fans. And I believe this is in alpha order. Jordan Addison from USC is wide receiver. Edge rusher Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. Safety Brian Branch from Alabama. Defensive lineman Jalen Carter from Georgia. Wide receiver Zay Flowers from Boston College. Mike, snuck through the censors. Cornerback Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. Offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State. Paris Johnson Jr. Quarterback Will Levis from Kentucky. Cornerback Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. Quarterback Anthony Richardson from Florida. Running back Bijan Robinson from Texas. Wide receiver Jackson Smith Najiba from Ohio State. Quarterback CJ Stroud from Ohio State. Edge rusher Keon White from Georgia Tech. Okay. Edge rusher Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. Cornerback Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. And finally, quarterback Bryce Young from Alabama. And fans, if you're keeping track, ACC has 2 teams, Boston College and Georgia Tech. SEC has 6 players from Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, and Georgia. Pac-12 has 2 players, one from USC, one from Oregon. Big 12 has 2, Texas and Texas Tech. And the Big 10 has 5, Ohio State, Penn State, and Illinois. Mike, do you notice anything about the people invited?
Be a position that matters, and you have a better chance of getting invited. Go to Alabama and Georgia, and you got a decent chance as well.
Got a decent shot.
Apparently, just go to some random crappy ACC school and you get invited. So why not?
Yeah, Boston College and Georgia Tech did not have the best of seasons, but they
Georgia
had
Tech
that.
used to have Calvin Johnson. They would be terrible, and that was kind of their MO. They'd have one star and be a bad team.
All right, so Mike, I need your government teacher hat on. Well. A Silicon Valley city councilman has been charged with perjury after he allegedly lied about leaking a grand jury report to the San Francisco 49ers last year that detailed possible unethical relationship between the team and the city council. Santa Clara City Councilman Anthony Becker is accused of providing the secret report titled Unsportsmanlike Conduct, Santa Clara City Council, to the team's former top spokesperson and a local media outlet. The 49ers play in Levi Stadium, which is in, wait for it, Santa Clara. Prosecutors say that the team has bankrolled Becker's political career by spending $3.2 million through an independent expenditure committee for his 2020 city council race, which he won, as well as an unsuccessful mayoral bid in 2022. Mike, as a teacher of social studies, are you shocked and flabbergasted by this alleged impropriety with the San Francisco 49ers and the city of Santa Clara, California?
No. People doing things they're not supposed to do, that's a tale as old as time.
All right. So finally, player safety. The first quarterback-specific helmet designed to help reduce concussions have been approved by the NFL and the NFLPA. The helmet will reduce severity of helmet-to-ground impact, which leaked data says accounts for approximately half of quarterback concussions, including the one suffered by Miami's Tua Tagovailoa during the game last season. Mike, is this the next step in terms of player safety, or is this just some cosmetic stuff to say we did something?
Where are the running back concussion reducing helmets? What about the offensive lineman concussion reducing helmets? Is it only because Tua's a big name and he had a terrible visual thing on on TV? Like, it's good. All of it's good, but like, it just shows all they care about is the quarterback. Make a helmet for everybody then. If it's that simple, then where's my quarterback helmets that are going to help with the quarterback related injuries? I don't know. The technology should continuously get better, but also the players continuously get bigger and stronger. So it's like you're doing this, but then this goes up. So it's a constant battle, I guess. But no, just right. Quarterback. To me, that's just funny because we know they only care about the quarterback. So
yeah, that kind of tipped your hand a little bit. But Mike, I appreciate you jumping in with us. And on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, and my fill-in co-host, Mike King, I'm Dr. Keith Adams, saying thank you for listening and or watching the iCoaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The iCoaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The iCoaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the iCoaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the iCoaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at iCoaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the iCoaches podcast.